Okay, some huge news is breaking right now in the Middle East. We need to talk about it because the death of one man, Ali Larijani, well, it could literally change everything. Let's get into it. So, what happened? Israel has just confirmed a major military op, a targeted airstrike, and not just anywhere, but inside Iran. Now, look, any strike like this is a big deal, a huge escalation. But the real story here, the thing that matters, is who they targeted. And get this wasn't some wide-scale bombing. No, this was surgical, a precision strike aimed at just two very specific, very high-value people inside the Iranian regime.
And according to reports coming from Israeli military sources, it was a success. They got their targets. Two key Iranian commanders are gone, and that is sending a massive shockwave through Iran's entire security system. So the big question is, who exactly were these guys?
All right, let's focus on the big name here. Ali Larijani. This is the guy we're going to break down. And you have to understand, he wasn't just some random commander. For decades, this man was a central pillar of the entire Iranian political machine. So the two targets were Ali Larijani, who was Iran's top security chief, and Wakam Raza Soleimani, the commander of a really powerful internal security unit. I mean, to lose both of them in one shot, that is a massive, massive blow to the country's defense structure. Okay, to really get why Larijani's death is such a huge deal, you gotta understand his job. He was the secretary of the Supreme National Security Council. Now, that might sound like just a title, but it's not. Think of it as the absolute nerve center for all of Iran's defense and security policy. And Larijani, he was right there, at the very heart of it all. And what makes this whole thing even crazier is the timing. Larijani was actually pretty new to this specific job. He'd only been appointed last August, so his time in that top spot was short, but believe me, his influence was already huge.
So how does someone even get a job like that? Well, his rise to power wasn't an overnight thing. It was the result of a long career, one that was basically woven right into the fabric of the Iranian state itself. Yeah, Larijani was no outsider. He came from a family that was super influential in Iranian politics for decades, which gave him some serious connections. And inside Iran's really complex power structure, a lot of people saw him as this kind of balancing act, a guy who could somehow manage the hardline military guys on one side and the more traditional politicians on the other.
And his journey to the top, it was a long road. It all started back in the 80s with the Revolutionary Guards, the ideological core of the whole regime. After that, he jumped into straight-up politics, eventually becoming Speaker of Parliament. He even ran for president back in 2005. Now, he lost that election, but it totally cemented his status as a major player on the national stage. And all of that led to him being named security chief last year. But look, a resume only tells you so much, right? To really understand who Ali Larijani was, we have to look at what he himself said, especially when things got tense. So what did he say? Was he really this balancing figure that some people made him out to be? Or was he a hardliner, deep down? Well, listen to this. This is a direct quote from Larijani after a previous airstrike killed another top Iranian leader. His message, it wasn't exactly diplomatic. It was a straight-up promise of revenge. He said the attacks had set the heart of the Iranian nation ablaze and that Iran would burn its enemies' hearts. I mean, those aren't the words of a moderator. Those are the words of a hardliner, and they set a really chilling tone for what could happen now. Which, of course, brings us to the massive, unanswered question that's just hanging over the entire region right now. So, what happens next? See, when you take out a guy who's this central to the power structure, especially a guy known for talk like that, you're not just removing a piece from the chessboard, no. You're creating a really dangerous power vacuum. And it puts incredible pressure on Tehran to do something. And that leaves us with this one kind of haunting thought. Larijani himself said that attacks like this set the nation's heart ablaze. Well, now his own death is pouring gasoline on those flames. So the question isn't really if Iran is going to try to burn its enemies' hearts in return. The real question is, whose?